Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Installment of Scott Selections here for Sunday, September 18th. Before getting today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. A couple plays to go through, so I'll go through them in order. Starting off with the college football show, we did very well. We swept the board. Ended up going 3-0. Had Georgia first half minus 13.5 at minus 118 on FanDuel. They absolutely crushed South Carolina from start to finish. Had Alabama first quarter minus 12 at minus 130 on DraftKings. I believe they led 28-0 after a quarter, and had Army minus 14 and minus 110 on WinBet. They completed 0 passes in the entire game and still scored 49 points, one in blowout fashion. So overall, college football 3-0 for plus 2.53 units. And then for the play of the day video yesterday, we gave out a play on boxing. However, based on time of recording, the match has not finished yet. So we'll recap how that ends up going in the Monday video. But either way, time to pivot on to Sunday's play the day, and it's going to be in a matchup in the NFL between the Dolphins and the Ravens, taking place at around 1 p.m. Eastern time. And for this matchup, we like the total in this one. We like the under 44.5 points at minus 110 on DraftKings. Time recording of midnight Eastern time. Couple reasons why I like the Dolphins and Ravens under in this matchup. First reason, looking at both teams offensively in week one, they both were pretty underwhelming. Baltimore, you figured, would have a pretty good offensive game against the Jets because the Jets' defense has not been good for several years. And yet, Baltimore really didn't do much for pretty much the entire game. Baltimore scored 24 points, but they only had 13 first downs in the entire game. They also only had 63 rushing yards on 3 yards per carry. So, Baltimore offensively really had a hard time moving the ball. And I think that's a serious problem, especially since Miami's defense is more talented than New York's. I think that Baltimore's offense might be a little bit overrated as a result. Meanwhile, looking at Miami, they also won in week one. However, their offense was also underwhelming as the Dolphins only scored 20 points against the Patriots while recording 307 yards of offense. Now, the one big play in that game was, of course, the fourth down touchdown pass to Waddle. But I feel like that kind of sums up exactly what's wrong with this Miami team under Tua. They are extremely conservative and they don't take many shots. And it sounds a little bit of an oxymoron because they went for it on fourth down. That definitely took guts. The point is, the biggest passing play was a slant pass for about 7 yards that the receiver took for a touchdown. So Tua is still not exactly willing to chuck the ball downfield. He's still going to be a game manager. And I do think as a result, anytime he's behind center, you're going to be looking at lower scoring games because he's more willing to check down than most other quarterbacks in the league. It's not necessarily a serious problem, especially since Miami's defense is good. But the point is, based on his style of play, it definitely supports the under. And even though they had a brand new coach, the offensive system did look pretty similar to last year's based on the intermediate and short passes and a little bit of ground game work. But Tyreek had a decent amount of catches, really nothing crazy in terms of yards. Waddle had the one slant pass that he broke, but that was basically it. I think Miami's going to be trying to drain a lot of clock based on the short passes, and Baltimore's defense with a talented secondary. It is a little bit banged up, but Humphrey, I'm expecting, will play, and Peters might actually play. I know he had practice in full a couple of days out of the week, so he might be back as the second corner for Baltimore. But I do think Tua, until he actually takes some shots down the field, I'm expecting a lot of really long and ugly drives by Miami, which might result in 3 points, etc. But to go through the meeting last year, a very low scoring game on Thursday night, last season's meeting had 32 points, and there were 23 points in the fourth quarter. So you had 9 points, 0 touchdowns in the first 3 quarters, and in that 23-point outburst fourth quarter, you also had a defensive touchdown. So I do think, based on what I've seen with these defenses against the opposing quarterbacks in the past, this total does seem a little bit high because I don't exactly like the current form of both units. I think you'll probably see one of these teams not even reach 20 in this game. I can see a 2017 final, something like that. But if you want to go through some trends as well, the under is 5-0 in Miami's last 5 road games. But with Tua behind center and Miami basically generating 300 yards flat against New England while only scoring 20 points, while the Ravens only scored 24 while recording just 13 first downs against the Jets, I think both offenses are extremely overrated, and I think both defenses should shine in this game as this game goes under the totals. Play that once again here for Sunday, September 18th is going to be on the Dolphins and Ravens under 44.5 at minus 110 on DraftKings. Bye, everyone.